Hey, welcome to the Cyber Savvy Woman, where women business owners reclaim their power in the digital world. We shatter the myth that cybersecurity is too complex to master and transform protection strategies into clear, actionable guidance. This is your digital empowerment sanctuary, where cyber fear becomes cyber confidence. Whether you're protecting client trust as a therapist or safeguarding financial data as an advisor, you'll hear from women founders who've conquered digital challenges and security experts who speak your language. Every woman leading a business deserves to feel unshakable in her digital decisions, no matter her technical background. Are you ready to stop letting cybersecurity intimidate you and start letting it elevate you? Here's your host, Rachele Schainker.
Welcome back to the Cyber Savvy Woman, where we talk about practical ways women can protect themselves, their businesses, and their futures in our increasingly digital world. I'm your host, Rachele Schainker, a Silicon Valley technologist and owner of the award-winning managed service provider, CMIT Solutions of San Mateo. Today's conversation is a little different. It's a candid behind-the-scenes discussion that touches on small business realities, community resources, and what it actually looks like to build something sustainable as a business owner. Today, we're joined by Jennifer Hancox of the Edna Collective. Jennifer, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. For listeners who are meeting you for the first time, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and what the Edna Collective does?
I'm a jeweler. So we do jewelry and appraisals, custom jewelry design and redesign, which is my personal favorite. I love doing it. Redesign of heirlooms for people. And then we also do in-house appraisals in person while you wait, jewelry appraisals for insurance or inventory for your estate plan. And then sometimes sorting it out, like, what is this? Is it real? Isn't it real? So yeah, that's the fun stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and I like how sometimes you refer to yourself as, a private jeweler, or is that the correct way? I mean, it's everyone needs their own private jeweler. I love that, having that on speed dial.
Yeah, it's like a little marketing tool, but it works. It's true though.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. You're the only person in the office when you're here, so.
Right. Yeah, no, it's great. What problem were you seeing in the world that made you say, "Hey, this needs to exist?" Because it is unusual, right? A lot of times we think of jewelers and they're in a store and it's more not commercial or retail, but used to have the retail component. But tell us how this evolved.
So I was working in a store and I did enjoy it, but we found that even though we had a nice selection of ready-made jewelry, which is, trendy, like, buying a purse in a certain color for the season or, a certain trend of, wide leg pants. The same thing is for jewelry, but we found that a lot of people wanted to tailor it a little bit at least. So we started doing more custom design. And then I found that I really enjoyed that aspect. And we would have people come in with old pieces of jewelry, whether it's, you from your 20s and you're like, I've just outgrown this, or you inherited something and you think, oh, this doesn't really fit my style, but I want to keep the memory of the person that gave it to me. So we, reinvent jewelry so they don't have to get rid of it. It's not guilty, like it's in the jewelry box. I feel guilty looking at it every day. Something you can wear and feel good about.
Yeah, yeah. Who tell us about your ideal client profile. Who are you serving today, and what are they struggling with? And I think you kind of touched on that. But yeah.
The clients that I get, not as many 20s and 30s because I think they're building their jewelry wardrobe at that point. It's mostly like 40s to 60s where they have jewelry, they've had it for a while, they want to do something. The upgrade on the engagement ring after 20 years, that kind of thing. Or, it's a big event for them, a big birthday, a big promotion. They started their own business and they want to celebrate with like a signature piece of jewelry for themselves. So we end up doing that, which I love. Um, a lot of reinvention of heirloom pieces. So that's why it's like the 50-60 crowd, somebody's parent passes but yeah, and some divorce jewelry too. So I keep that on the down low, but we do a lot of that.
Yeah, yeah, no, fair. And what is the process? Tell us, let's say I came in with 3 rings, a necklace, and a bracelet. What would be the process that you would take me through to get to our new design piece? What does that look like?
Sure. So we take a look at the pieces. Can we remove the stones? Are the stones in good shape? Are they, good quality? Because not every piece of jewelry you buy from the department store has nice stones. But if they're usable, then why not? You don't have to buy anything else. We look at the gold, platinum, or silver. How much of it is there? Can we recycle some of it? Can we refine it and get cash value for it? And then you get a credit towards the new piece, which is happening a lot because gold is so high priced right now that a lot of people are bringing in pieces to melt and using that to create something new, maybe buying a extra side stone or something like that. Um, so when we evaluate everything, and then I ask you, is your style modern, minimalist? What kind of piece? Are you a ring person, a necklace person? Because some people are like, oh, I hate things on my neck, you know, or I play volleyball professionally and I can't have rings, those kinds of things. And then I asked to look at their, Instagram of jewelry that they've liked because people sometimes say, oh my gosh, I really want an Art Deco ring. And then you look at it and you're like, that's not Art Deco, that's Victorian, or, something along those lines.
Right. Right. Kind of help them, guide them in the right path. Yeah.
Exactly. So, it's a fun process. We do some of it online or through email, but then, the final design process is in person in the office, and we do some drawings and some CADs. We can do wax models for people if they want to take a look. And then the ring or, piece of jewelry gets delivered to you. So, total time is about 8 weeks, I think.
Yeah. No, I mean, you helped me redesign a ring that came, and it came out perfectly. It's like it's a large, gemstone that I can't wear every day, but it is something that I do wear on special occasions. So whenever I pull that out, I was like, "Oh, it's lovely."
That's great. That makes me feel good because, you get a large gemstone as a gift. That's great. But then, like, what do you do with it? And you want to be able to wear it and be and like, oh, look what I got.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like that song, I want a ring on my finger, right?
Yeah.
I want to show it off and talk about it and talk about it. That's exactly what we want to do.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the reality of being a small business owner. I really commend you on going out on your own. I mean, I think, what are you, year 4 now? Like, I think you've been 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
That's, I think we've both seen people that have started around the same time who aren't still doing it. So kudos us that we have, we're still doing it. But what surprised you the most when you started working independently? What kind of bubbled up for you?
So you are good at your job when you're working for somebody or working at corporate. And then, you're maybe the best at it, right? But then when you're out on your own, you are still good. But then there's all these other things that you have to do. You have to market the business, not just yourself. You have to network and repeatedly follow up. Bookkeeping type stuff, legal things, like if I buy and sell gold, we have to have them fill out a form and take pictures of their ID, and people are like freaked out, but it's anti-money laundering. So that's something you learn, like now you're connected to the government in like a slightly criminal way. You're like, so little things like that you don't know that you need to really appreciate. The time I think taking to do the admin stuff, operations, aside from the fun stuff, is a huge amount of time, and I think people don't realize quite how much that is. And then I was going to say, when you're a solo business person, a solopreneur, sometimes it's a little lonely because you're doing it all yourself, right? You're in the office by yourself. Which, if you have a big family and you go to that office, it's a nice little reprieve.
Yes. Yeah, no.
But if it's just two of you at home, it's a little bit different. You're like, oh, I talked to two people today.
Share with us kind of, what does your normal work week look like? I know you've done a great job of kind of like taking all those things you need to do and kind of like time blocking it, or share with us kind of what your week looks like.
Yeah, I found out that I'm not good at switching or code switching as rapidly as I would like. So I time block, and I have different days for different things. So Monday, I work from home. because it just kind of like it feels like a cheat day, like, oh, I took Monday off, right? But I'm I'm at home. I'm doing a lot of like updates and setting the week ahead, and even things like planning groceries, planning wardrobe and stuff for all the meetings and everything we have. But it's a full admin day. Tuesday is a meeting day. I have an early networking meeting at 7:30, but it's been productive. And then a little buffer of time, and then I have a business coach meeting almost every Thursday. And then I block time after that to do those coach tasks.
Nice. Yeah.
With lunch, I go for a walk, and then other meetings on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is really a lot of clients come to the office, update. I don't really do a lot of admin on those days, but I will go to events, networking events in the evening or the morning or lunchtime when they tend to be those days anyways. So it works out well. So that's the time block.
Yeah. Um, you did such a great job, I think, tapping into like your community resources and your support system. Share with our listeners kind of like what were there, where did you find those resources? Legal, libraries, legal aid. What steps did you take to uncover those?
When I started with the business, the company I worked for was already a chamber member, Chamber of Commerce. So I just switched that over to myself,
Yeah.
joined as a member on my own. And the Chamber of Commerce is great because they do after hours networking. So it's a little more relaxed. You can chat with people. And that's how I got a lot of contacts for other things. Hey, are you in this networking group? Hey, are you in this estate planning council? Libraries, I have a library card, so I'm on the newsletter. And then the newsletter has business classes, and then you go to the business classes and they're hosted by the Small Business Development Corp, the SBDC, right? So then you go to SBDC classes and you just kind of build as you go. But in the beginning you go to everything, right? And then you just kind of whittle down what's best for you, what's most important, because you also have to be protective of your time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What about technology and I think you do a great job of like vetting out your systems and putting together a great tech stack. How would you describe your comfort level with technology as a business owner? Or like, take us through that. Like how did you figure out the pieces and and if you have to evaluate and something maybe wasn't the right one, did you have to switch or, like how was that for you?
Sure. So I'm lucky enough to have a tech person in my life, Rachele Schainker, uh,
Yes, sure. Yeah.
that tells me stuff. But yeah, so we, have some protective things. So I'm dealing with people's jewelry. Appraisals have their address and the contents of their safe. So I have to be really secure. So I have a very high, very protective virus program. We have a firewall at the office. I'm not using any outside, I don't do anything at Starbucks or anything like that. The software that we use, I did vet some of the software to make sure, even though it was cloud-based, that it had some like special security, so nobody could hack it, those types of things. But luckily for me, I'm not like building apps or anything like that, so I'm not exposed in that way. But yeah, pretty protective. And I even tell my clients, like, when I send you this, you have to do it in 24 hours, and so it doesn't just sit in your email box. Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, I like that. That's a good one. Are there any technology tools that you rely on daily that kind of make your life easier?
So I use the password one because there's a lot of websites that ordering jewelry, it's connected to my bank account, right? So it has to be super secure. So the password thing I use, double security, I use the app, the like authenticators, um, all of that kind of thing. I don't know what other kind of tech security I have.
Well, what about like just for your day-to-day operations? Like, aren't you using like do you use Monday or Notion or like how are you tracking like your productivity or how do you keep all your follow-ups? Do you have a good follow-up system? What about productivity?
Right. We use Monday.com. Yeah, Monday.com. When I started out in the first year, I had it and I like wasn't busy enough or I didn't know how to use it. And then with AI in the past like 2 years and even 6 months, Monday is like a whole other world. And it like we type an email, sequence, we attach it to how I have people allocated. I'm very tidy that way with the contact list. Is this people that I met through the chamber, or am I sending things out to the estate planning council? Am I sending things out to people that are past customers? So we have that on automation. We have a project flow for when people come in and drop off jewelry, it assigns an automatic envelope number. And then, it puts in all their information and even things like, is it 14 karat or 18 karat? Is it yellow or white gold? That kind of thing. And then that connects to my QuickBooks, which then, the goldsmith charges me $10 and I charge the client whatever amount of money. And then it gives me like a chart, like, how much is your cost versus your sales? It's pretty robust. So that's one that I rely on all the time. I do have the Google Suite because it's so easy and pleasant to use. I'm not a fan of Office. And then the other piece that I use is a software called Instapraise for jewelry appraisals, which also, when they built it, it was just kind of like, here it is. And over the years, it just keeps adding more amazing features. And I think that's part of the success is it does this inventory list for me that a lot of other people don't have. It's the typed in stuff here and then all the pictures and the pages in the back. Whereas this, it's the picture is next to the number, is next to the title, is next to the price. And it lists it and automatically calculates it for you. So that's a huge piece of big piece of business. I use it every day, all the time.
What about you created a very cool, for people who want to do their inventory at home, a workbook, if you will. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So, as I was mentioning that a lot of my clients are older, people our age and a little bit older are comfortable with computers, but their parents aren't, the 70s and 90s, right? So they're not sitting there typing in everything, but they'll put a piece of, they'll get the notebook. It's a workbook. I copied it kind of like a journal, like a contemporary journal, where you open it up and you write something in the top. There's a title, there's check boxes, there's little slots, there's pictures, that kind of thing, so that people can look and say, the title of this is engagement ring. And then the description underneath is, Grandma Jennifer's engagement ring, 1970, blah, 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 right? And then there's check boxes. Is it 10, 12, 14, 18 karat? Is it gold? Is it platinum? Is it white? Is it yellow? To make it easy for them and kind of prompt, because not everybody remembers everything or they remember to write stuff down. They might write down, oh, we bought this in Florida for the, Apollo launch, right? But is it real? How much did you pay for it? Who bought it for you? Like those kinds of things.
Yeah. What is the story? Yeah.
And it's a notebook or it's, like a booklet. So you can like put it on the shelf or, if you're the kid or the grandkid, you could go to grandma's house with some muffins and have some tea and coffee and write it down. And it's a nice like way to spend an hour with your grand or grandpa. And then it's a book that if something happens, they actually have it. And you can take pictures. There's a grid in the back that helps you right size what things are.
Yeah. No, I think that's, I love that piece because I think that's missing a lot. People definitely get their appraisals for their, their bigger statement pieces or investment pieces, but I think the other pieces sometimes maybe could fall to the wayside, and there isn't any documentation. So
Yeah. And some of those are a little more nostalgic, right? We bought this on our honey or on our 12th wedding anniversary. It's not even a big wedding anniversary. It's 12, and we went to Monterey, and it was this best weekend, and it's emotional and fun to you. But if it was just in a box with no documentation, your kid or grandkid that's cleaning it out is like,
yeah. I mean, that's kind of like the ring that I came to you with was, right? It was like passed down. No one knows anything about it. And it was like, not my style. So I was like, all right, let's undo this. But yeah, I mean, it would have been nice to have known in that ring, what was the story behind that? And, that was lost in the ether. So Yeah, very interesting. Um, let's talk about like looking ahead. I would want to know what's going on with Edna Collective. What are you excited about this year? What's coming up?
So this year we're already on track to beat all prior years with sales and production, which is great. Um,
Not surprised.
Thumbs up. We bought some new equipment, so we're going to be doing small things here in the office. We have a laser welder, which repairs little chains or attaches clasps, that kind of thing. Not big breaks, but little things, so that you don't have to wait for our goldsmith to do it. We recently got a full size polisher. So if you have a scratch on your ring or, volleyball out in the garden and you get a scratch, you can bring it in and we'll buff it for you.
Wow. Wow.
Or if you just want like a clean and a buff before you go to, a big night out or a wedding or something, we can do that. So those are two big things that we have right now. Next year, we're planning on if I could make this happen, moving to a larger location where we can have both some in-house goldsmiths and also some teaching classes. So if you're, jewelry curious, so to speak, and you want to come in and learn how to, make a silver ring or, work with silver clay, we can do that. But if you're like, maybe already a jeweler that's past beginner, you can come in and we have classes with the goldsmiths to teach you how to fix prongs or, size rings or something a little more complicated beyond the beginner stage.
Yeah. Oh, that's very exciting. Congrats.
And then, yeah, so now that it's out in the world, I actually have to do it.
Yeah, well, you gotta manifest that. We will manifest that for you. No problem. What about trends? Like what trends, like let's do a little jewelry trend. What are you seeing right now? Or what are people looking for? What are they enjoying? What are they being drawn to?
So a funny thing happens. Gold got was increasing in price, so people were buying a little bit less of it, and now it's so high that it's become a status item and it's selling more.
Wow. Wow.
So people are buying more gold, which crazy for the market.
And it could be yellow gold, white gold, or rose gold, or is it it doesn't matter what the color is.
It's yellow gold that people want because it's real, that's the status.
Okay. All right. Yellow. Yeah, it's the primary. Yeah.
Whereas white, it could look like silver and it's not as. I find more of my clients are choosing not to buy diamond jewelry because you can't tell if it's natural or lab, and they want that kind of cachet of,
Right. Exactly. Interesting. Yeah.
this is valuable, not cheap and large. Um, but I'm seeing a lot more colored gemstones and not the colors of the recent past. There's the blue-green sapphires and the podparachas, which are, pinky orange. I'm seeing more people wanting, red, real red, rubies, garnets, a saturated orange, spessartine garnets, and then true blue sapphires. More people coming in that want that like cornflower blue. So kind of surprising on that, but I think it's, you know, minimalist is kind of past us. Diamonds are kind of past us. People want like, hey, if I'm going to spend money on jewelry, I want you to know that it's jewelry. It's real jewelry. So
What about, oh, that's good to know. I like the gems idea. Like that, I'm drawn to the, well, you know me, I like color. So I'm like, I'm drawn to that. I'm like, that sounds interesting. What about if somebody is, not local, like we're local, right? So it's easy for us to work. Do you work with people that maybe are further away, or can you do remote work, or how does that work?
yeah, we do remote work, no problem. It's just, getting exposed to it. So I had a local person connect me with her friend in not quite Tahoe, whatever those towns are right below it. And so we did a little bit of email back and forth on what she wanted, some video calls. And then she happened to come visit her friend and dropped off the jewelry. And then we, made it into something else. And then we just shipped it directly to her. So we do a bunch of that. I have some offsite CAD and wax producers when they produce the wax mold, so they can like drop ship that to the client. So I would say Sacramento area is my farther away. Santa Barbara, I get some. I have family in Western Pennsylvania, which is not the biggest jewelry mecca, but I do have, redesigned heirlooms. So that stuff's coming from there. So it grows as we go along. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Yeah. And then share with our listeners, like, pick one story. I know you have a ton of stories, a story of like kind of the impact of, somebody bringing in something and maybe not knowing the value, and how you like, changed it into, something that they really love. I mean, I know those stories are there.
Yeah, this happens to us women sometimes. Sometimes you're the oldest in the family, or you're the only woman on like two sides of the family, and everything comes to you. So it was this nice client. She had all this jewelry from two different sides of the family, plus an aunt, and it was a lot. So what we did is we took all the gemstones out, melted down all the gold to give her credit, and then she came in one day, we had them sorted out by color, and she put the pieces together. She ended up making 3 rings, a red and black ring for her sister, a very pretty pale green, pale yellow, yellow gold band for her daughter that she gave to her on her wedding day. She cried. I know, I love this.
Wow. It gives me goosebumps.
And then for her, it was a thick band of gold with all the different white stones. So there was some, small white diamonds, some white sapphires, a big moissanite in the middle. And it was just stunning. And it looked like stars in the sky around one big star. And she put it on, and she's not a high price, job lawyer executive. So for her, it was significant. It was like all these women previous to her are in one place. So that's the kind of stuff that makes me feel good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the good work. You are doing the good work, Jen. It's pretty amazing and very unique. Like, I don't come across other Jen Hancocks Edna Collectives. It's very unique. So, what you've brought to market is pretty amazing. So, kudos to you.
Thank you.
All right, so we've reached the part of the podcast, the rapid fire. I'm going to ask you some questions, and you'll just share what first thing comes to mind. And the first one you've already answered, but we'll do it. Password manager or no password manager?
Password manager. Yeah, 100%.
There you go. And multi-factor authentication, annoying or non-negotiable?
Well, annoying, but non-negotiable. It's kind of both. Yeah, there should be a C option there.
It is, yes. What is one application you trust with your sensitive business information?
Instapraise is really very safe, but I do have the virus software, so I haven't had anything so far, so knock on wood.
No, no, no. Knock on wood. Yep. Um, do you separate your personal and business devices? Yes or no? I mean, or do you kind of, yeah.
But yeah, mhm.
And then what is one cyber habit you've adopted that you're proud of?
So I work with a digital organizer, and is putting a beneficiary or a secondary contact on all of your information. So if something happens to you, your Facebook doesn't get hacked, and, your family gets, posts from you after you're gone. But for everything, where's the phone? Where's the password to the phone? Where's the password to the password manager? So legacy information on all of your devices and sites.
Yeah. No, that's great. That's perfect. I love that. And what does being cyber savvy mean to you?
you know, Trying to see the new stuff. I mean, if I wasn't really looking at AI or Monday.com, I wouldn't know all the things that were happening. So just keeping up on it, really. And I do that mostly through LinkedIn, because those shorter um, posts about AI,
Yeah, content easier to absorb.
it's easier to absorb than, and it's not as annoying as a newsletter. You can skip it and read it at your leisure and go back. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I've had people start to say to me like, TL, DR or whatever. And I was like, what is that? And they're like, oh, too long, didn't read. I was like, oh no. All right, we need to tighten this up. But Jennifer, thank you so much for joining me today. I really love the behind the scenes look at what it means to navigate small business ownership, community support, and the day-to-day realities that don't always get talked about. And to our listeners, please make sure you check out show notes so you can check out Jen. She has a great Instagram feed. She's always posting her beautiful new creations that she's coming up with. So make sure you check that out. And thank you so much. Jennifer, I appreciate you coming to the show. Thanks.
Thank you. It was great to be here and fun.
Yeah, have a good day. Okay, good. Bye.
The Cyber Savvy Woman podcast requires more than a conversation. It takes action, research, and collective wisdom. If today's episode resonated with you, we'd love to hear your insights. Join the conversation and help us shape the future together. We'll be back with more stories, strategies, and real-world solutions that are making a difference for everyone. In the meantime, be sure to subscribe, rate, write a review, and share it with someone you think would benefit from it too. Hey, thanks for listening, and see you on the next episode.